Hey, what's up, y'all? Was popping this D about to react to this impressive vid. This is Michael B. Jordan left with Lori Harvey for his ex. Lori has a new man, and Jeannie and Adrienne defend Amanda. Child, I'm so tired of hearing about the real. If it's done, let it be done. If it's dead, let it die. We don't need to hear about any of this anymore. And Lori already moving on, period. That's how we do it. You gotta keep it pushing in these streets. You know, if you want to be for the streets, you gotta keep it moving in the streets. So I support Lori. I stand behind her. Yeah, let's see what's going on. Let's watch.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Impressive channel. There are a couple of things I want to talk about in this video. First, starting with some updates surrounding Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey's breakup. Several days ago, it was announced that Michael and Lori broke up because Michael was looking for something more serious and Lori simply wasn't ready to commit to Michael. Now, this is the story that's being put out there. There's also some speculation that maybe their relationship was contractual. They used their relationship for PR, and when it ran its course, they went their separate ways. So that's a possibility as well. But a little bit more tea is slowly coming out about their breakup. Now, the actress Lisa Ray hinted on Cocktails with Queens that Michael B. Jordan allegedly was still in love with his ex-girlfriend. And it's possible that...
I'm sorry, this clip seems so fucking forced to me. When I saw it, I'm like, bye. He looked like he trying to look sad. Like, fuck out of here.
Michael may have left Lori because he was missing his ex.
I think that's bullshit. They said that she wasn't ready, because when a woman finds a good one, then that's what you're looking for.
And I'm so tired of y'all. How do y'all know he was a good one? Y'all don't know. Just because nothing has come out about him cheating or beating her or whatever the fuck, that don't automatically make a person a good man or a good woman. I'm so tired of this. Even with the whole Russell and fucking Sierra. That nigga could be doing anything behind the scenes. Do y'all hear how crazy y'all sound? Glorifying their relationship like you know what's happening behind their closed doors? You don't. That is so weird. Just because we don't know anything, a lot of people are very good at hiding shit. Okay? So stop being like, oh, this is a good man. That's a good relationship. This is a good couple. Shut up.
But I think at the same time, she's young. I think the established relationship that Michael did have before this one, I think that maybe that social media, that all of that was a lot for him. And I think that he, I heard about his ex, and him was so serious that he may have missed her.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Okay, Selena, that sounds like you got some teeth there, Lisa, right?
But I think maybe, once he had been with an older woman and, which is his ex, I feel like that chemistry could make you go, man, I remember this, and I got to teach this. And I don't know, maybe that's a little personal in there for me.
Now, Lisa didn't go into much detail, but that little bit of tea she spilled was very interesting because she brought
was it tea? Because she said she heard.
Relationship with an older.
Saying you heard is just saying you heard. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't know neither one of these niggas. There ain't no tea.
Before getting with Lori. So if this is true, it's very possible that Michael may have missed what he had with his ex. And that's not to say that he didn't like Lori at all. I think he did like Lori, but he realized that she wasn't really serious about being in a long-term relationship. He's at an age where he wants to settle down. And he was probably thinking about the relationship he had with his ex, and he probably misses that. He probably misses a serious, low-key relationship. And it's very possible that he may come back to his ex. Who knows? But I kind of feel like Michael was the one who ended things, and I don't think Lori saw it coming. I noticed that Lori deleted Michael off of her social media page.
Period.
And also her mother, Marjorie, reposted this video on her IG story. And a lot of people feel like this was a shot at Michael.
What is that?
Sit in shit too long. It stops smelling. So come the fuck out of that.
Also, Steve Harvey posted this quote on Twitter saying, sometimes we need to thank God for what didn't happen.
See, they know what the fuck is going on, so stop being like, oh, he was a good man. Michael B. Jordan, he was a good man, and she fumbled, and
Now, Steve does post quotes on his platform a lot, but I thought the timing of this quote was interesting. And it probably applies to Lori's situation. Who knows? But from my guess, it seems like Michael was the one who broke things off. And I think it's because he wants to be in a serious relationship. And I could be wrong, but it's possible that he might have found somebody else. Now, does this mean Lori is going to be down and out about this? Absolutely not. Lori knows how to move on very quickly. It doesn't matter if she leaves the situation or if someone leaves her, she's going to move on. In fact, it was rumored that she probably moved on already. And I want to talk a little bit about this, but before I do, let me pause and thank Setbird for sponsoring this video. So, I have a question. Shout out to what are your favorite imagining everything about how people fragrances
get your coin impressive
Skylar Gabbana's light blue for sponsoring this video. Now, it was rumored that Lori may have had somebody on the side. Gossip of the City actually put this rumor out last month, and they said, saw Lori Harvey's real man, not the one she dates for business. I want to post, but y'all going to tell on me. So this, of course, actually adds more fuel to the rumors that Michael and Lori's relationship was for publicity only, and behind the scenes they were dating the people that they truly were into. I don't know if that's factual, but it's just a thought. But I wouldn't be surprised if both Michael and Lori were in new relationships by the end of the summer. More than likely, Michael might settle down with his next girl, and Lori might continue to date around because she still is young and she's having fun. So both of them will be all right. I don't think either one of them are losing sleep over this breakup. Anyway, moving on. The actress Amanda Seales was not pleased that she was snubbed from the Real's farewell episode. If you don't know, Amanda was a co-host on the show briefly during season 6, I believe.
I always see her on Instagram complaining about some shit and mad about
something. She was hosting during the beginning of the pandemic, and some of the viewers may not have liked the serious tone that she brought to the show, but she actually elevated a lot of conversations on the show. And she inspired her other co-hosts to be more vocal about social and racial injustice. She also gave...
See, this is the problem, though. I got a controversial take. I'm going to talk about it then.
Some input in the show, and they used some of her ideas for a few segments. So she did contribute something in the short period she was on the show, which is why it was a little odd that she wasn't added in the farewell episode.
So apparently The Real, in their finale episode, did promo. I am not featured in this thumbnail, and I am not featured in the farewell episode, apparently. I'll have some things to say about that.
Now, 2 of the co-hosts on the show, Jeannie, Maya, and Adrienne, saw that Amanda was snubbed, and they weren't pleased with that at all.
Jeannie and Adrienne hit me up, and were like, that's bullshit. We did not realize that was, happening, and we were going to do a live, an Instagram live, but then our schedules didn't line up, and it was just like, it's fine. But they I talk to Jeannie and Adrienne all the time.
Okay. Now, I think the real reason why Amanda was snubbed from the farewell episode is because she called out The Real several times. She called out the show for copying one of her logos, which was her intellectual property. Also, she revealed that she had an issue with one of the producers on the show. And this is one of the reasons why she left.
But we were playing a Smart Funny and Black show on a game on The Real, and they assigned it to the one white woman producer. But we have 3 black women producers and 1 black guy producer. And so I was like, why are you producing this? Do you even know what we're going to be talking about? And she said, no, I just figured you were going to talk about it and I would just write it down. And I said, so am I going to get a producer credit? To me, you assign the different segments to people who are going to be able to produce it to the best ability. And it's like, if we were doing a segment on like a Sabbath dinner, she was the one Jewish person on the production staff. She should be in charge of that segment because she has the most expertise on that.
Period.
And I just was like, and so basically she went crying to somebody and said that I attacked her, even though I spoke to her.
So when Amanda called out one of the producers on the show, I do believe this caused the show to snub her from the farewell episode. And she talked about the snub in more detail on The Breakfast Club.
I think some people think because it's TV or whatever, that it's like, how dare you want better for anything? Like, you get to be on TV, you get to be glamorous, you get to get money. By the way, I wasn't really getting that money on there. Me holding an employer accountable for behaviors and for practices that are deleterious to the positive work environment of people there is not shitting on the show. You know, I never talked about my co-hosts. I never made it about the actual talent on the show. I made it about the leadership. That, along with a myriad of other things in terms of like a toxic work environment and just business practices and professional practices that didn't even just affect me. They affected my makeup team. They affected my glam team. You know, like, they affected my assistant. Like, they affected the other hosts. Like, it was not just a singular issue. I just hate that folks really don't understand the difference between shitting on something and calling for change.
If somebody speaks out about it and talks about leadership.
Which is how they ended up with the Black EP. That's how they ended up with the Black executive producer, because I came out and was vocal, which inspired some of the people who were still remaining on the cast to challenge and say that needs to be in place in order for us to continue to be here. You know, I thought I was being brought in there to elevate conversations, but I was really brought in there, you know, to kind of like be a villain. They brought me in there to like shake the table. Shout out to K. Michelle. And I guess if I knew that was the assignment, I would have decided differently if I wanted to sign up for that, but that's not what I thought I was signing up for.
So that was Amanda speaking about her issues with The Real. The Real is now
But it's your
canceled,
decision
so it
to
shouldn't
shake
matter
the
at this
table.
point,
Exactly.
but
It's
it's
canceled.
really
It's
more
over.
so about the principle. I don't think Amanda should have been left off from the farewell episode. I understand that she left off on a bad note,
Right,
kind of
so
similar
why
to
would
how
they?
Tamar left off on a bad note. When Tamar was fired, she did call out the show as well, but the show still managed to include Tamar
But
in
she
the last
was a
farewell
huge
episode.
part of the show, though.
Amanda might have been on the show
Huge.
for a short period of time, but I feel like she did make somewhat of a difference. And I think every lady on the show should be acknowledged. All of them were great, and the show was great. I'm going to miss it a lot, but I do wish all of the co-hosts all the best moving forward. I kind of think The Real should be a podcast. I mean, podcasts are doing very well these days. So I think if they were smart, they would actually transition from TV to podcasting, because they could get a huge deal from Spotify or Apple or anywhere else and keep the show going. And they don't have to put on a big production either. But that's besides the point. That's another topic for another video.
I agree with
Anyway,
that.
tell what you...
Amanda, girl, like, who cares if you wasn't really fucking with them like that and you left? So why do you need them to honor you as a part of the cast in the farewell episode or post or whatever the fuck? If you didn't even fuck with them, you left on a bad note, you didn't fuck with the producers, why do you care? I'm so confused by that. But sure, what I was going to say that's, I guess, possibly controversial is that not everybody want to talk about social issues and heavy topics all the fucking time. So, you know, impressive stating that, oh, she brought, you know, that aspect to The Real. She had them talk about heavier and more serious topics. I don't feel like that needed to even be the place for that. Some people want, you know, platforms that they can watch that are lighthearted so they can escape from the toxicity and the bullshit of the world. You don't want to have to come to every single platform that you're watching and hear about people dying and the mistreatment of black people and, oh, this is happening with abortion laws and we as women ain't got as many, right? Like, we don't want to talk about that all the fucking time. So I don't think that was necessarily a positive thing, her bringing that aspect to The Real. I feel like they could have just kept it lighthearted and not really speak on heavier topics like that. It's okay to have that space. You don't always have to bring that up. I'm speaking on this also because I recently had a friend. We're no longer friends. I don't get to that. But she would literally bring heavy fucking topics to everything we talked about. It was so fucking draining. Like, for example, we literally had this conversation about Jack Harlow and, You know, one of my friends was saying, oh, I would date a white dude if he was like Jack Harlow. He got to have swag like him. You know, we like laughing, talking about that. And here she come. A white man, he could never, no matter how much swag he has, he could never replace a black man because he don't understand the struggles and the da-da-da. We like, girl, we ain't trying to talk about that right now. Like, we having a lighthearted conversation. Like, we chilling, we cracking jokes, and we ain't getting into all that. You feel me? So some people just want to force those conversations into every fucking thing, and we ain't got to do all that. You feel me? So I don't feel like she was a good fit anyway for the real. Based on what I see, granted, I don't even watch the fucking real, so I could just be running my mouth for nothing. Maybe she wasn't doing it that heavy. I don't know. But based on what Impressive said, and based on the type of person that Amanda is, it seems like she was trying to like push that. Like, hey, let's talk about this racism. Let's talk about, and it's like, bro, we want to talk about dating and sex positions and shit like this. We don't want to talk about that right now. But Amanda, get the fuck over it. Lori, yes, sis, move on. That's life. You gotta move on. I don't ever think it's no time frame in moving on. People be like, oh, you need to heal and then take months. No. If you find somebody else that you're attracted to, y'all vibing, keep it the fuck pushing. If it's a week later, a day later, you gotta move on with your fucking life. You don't need to be laying around the house crying, snotting everywhere. For what? Move on. Live in the present moment. You don't need to do all that. That's my opinion. I move on very quickly as well. It's time to move on. Time is ticking. And if somebody else in line, if they waiting, you feel me? It's time to keep it pushing out here. So yeah, that's my opinion about all of this. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.